1 year after my divorce, my former mother-in-law cornered me in the hospital and proudly told me that her son had a baby with my best friend. But then the doctor walked in with the DNA report, looked directly at her and said, "Now tell them who the real father of the baby is." "My son has a baby with your best friend." My former mother-in-law, Linda, said it with a smile while standing in my hospital room. "It's been a year since your divorce. You need to accept reality now." I was lying in the hospital bed looking at her. I still had an IV in my hand and my body felt weak. But more than her words, it was the pride on her face that surprised me. She was happy, like she had chosen this exact moment because she wanted to hurt me. Then the door opened. Dr. Martin walked in holding a file. He looked at me first, then turned toward Linda. "Are you Matthew's mother?" Linda proudly nodded. "Yes." The doctor opened the file. "Then maybe you should be the one to tell them who the real father of the baby is." The room went silent. Linda's smile disappeared. "My name is Sarah Collins. I am 32 years old and I live in Tampa, Florida. My former husband, Matthew Collins, was 35. He was the kind of person who always wanted to look good in front of everyone. Kind and charming around others, but inside our home he always wanted things done his way. My former mother-in-law, Linda, 62 years old. Her biggest concern in life was what people thought about her family. My best friend, Rachel Evans, 31 years old. She was the person I trusted for years. And that was the most painful part. Sometimes the person you never see as a threat is the person hiding the biggest secret. If you think this story is only about divorce and betrayal, stay until the end because the truth that came out in that hospital room was something nobody expected. 1 year earlier, Matthew and I got divorced. The reason? Matthew said we had changed. It was a beautiful lie. The truth was that he had already started pulling away from me. We were married for 7 years. The first years were good. We bought a small house in Florida. We would get coffee from Starbucks on Saturday mornings, walk along the beach and make plans for our future. Then slowly everything changed. Matthew started coming home late. He started hiding his phone. And whenever I asked questions he laughed. "Sarah, you make everything into a problem." One night I asked him, "Are you hiding something from me?" He lowered the TV volume. "Seriously? You're questioning me now? I just want an answer." There is no answer. But his behavior was the answer. After the divorce I tried to rebuild my life. I started a small online business. I thought I would finally have peace. But Linda didn't stay quiet. She often sent me messages. "Matthew was never happy with you. You should look at yourself. My son deserves a better life." I never replied. Then one day I ended up in the hospital. I had severe stomach pain. The doctors decided I needed emergency surgery. The first person I called was Matthew. No answer. Then Rachel. No answer. I thought maybe they were busy. But when I woke up after surgery my phone wasn't filled with missed calls. There was only silence. And then Linda walked into my room. She sat down in the chair. "Sarah, you need to know the truth." I looked at her. "What truth?" She smiled. "Matthew has moved on." I stayed quiet. She leaned forward. "With Rachel." My hand stopped moving. "What?" "Yes. And not only that. They have a baby." I looked at her. "You came here to tell me that?" She said, "I want you to accept that you lost." I slowly asked, "Lost?" She laughed. "Matthew left you. He is happy now." At that exact moment the doctor walked in. And he brought the report. The DNA report. Dr. Martin opened the file. "Mrs. Linda, the baby's DNA does not match." Linda immediately said, "What do you mean?" The doctor answered, "I mean Matthew is not the father of this baby." I looked at Linda's face. For the first time she had no answer. She sat down. "That's impossible." The doctor said, "The report is accurate." Matthew was standing outside the room. He walked in. "Mom." Linda looked at him. "Do you know anything about this?" Matthew stayed silent. And that silence said everything. Later I found out that Rachel had told Matthew the baby was his. But the truth was different. That was the first secret. The real problem was not Rachel. The real problem was Matthew. He started the relationship with Rachel while we were still married, but Rachel told him she was pregnant. Matthew thought he would leave everything behind and start a new life. But he didn't know Rachel was hiding something from him too. The baby's real father was someone else. After leaving the hospital, I didn't go straight home. I contacted my attorney, Jason Harper. He had already handled my divorce paperwork. I said, I need help. He asked, what happened? I answered, I think my entire marriage was a lie. For 2 weeks we collected everything. Messages, emails, bank records. Then we found something else. Matthew had tried to withdraw money from my account before the divorce. He thought I would never find out. But the bank records existed. I decided I wasn't going to stay silent. 3 weeks later, Linda hosted a family dinner. She wanted everyone to see that her family was still strong. She even posted pictures on Facebook. I went there. She looked shocked when she saw me. Why are you here? I smiled. To finish this conversation. Matthew said, Sarah, don't create drama. I looked at him. The drama was what you created for an entire year. Rachel was there too. She avoided looking at me. I placed a folder on the table. Linda asked, what is that? I said, the truth. Matthew opened the folder. His expression changed. Bank records, messages, dates, everything. Linda looked at me. Why did you do this? I looked at her. Because all of you thought I would stay quiet. Matthew stood up. Do you want to destroy me? I answered, no. I just want you to see what you did to me. Then the second secret came out. Rachel pulled out her phone in front of everyone. I need to say something too. Matthew looked at her. Rachel, don't. She shook her head. No. Everyone needs to know now. She explained that Matthew had lied to her too. He told her that our divorce was already final when they started their relationship. He had betrayed Rachel as well. He wasn't just building a new life. He was using 2 people at the same time. Linda looked at her son. You did all this? Matthew had no answer. A few months later, legal action began against Matthew. I got my money back. Rachel left town. Linda called me several times. One time she said, I never thought my son could be like this. I answered, you never thought. You only protected him. Today I have moved forward with my life. I changed my home. I grew my business. And most importantly, I learned to trust myself again. Some people think a quiet person is weak. I learned something different. A quiet person is simply waiting. For the right moment. For the right truth. For the right answer. If you think Sarah was right to finally stand up for herself, please like this story, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments what you would have done if you were in her situation. Your support means a lot to us.